The visit obviously has generated a lot of interest in Washington. As you know, that the United States is the closest Saudi ally. They have a long defense, economic, and strategic relationship, and the Americans would like to keep it that way. And the Saudis also, I think, are interested in continuing their relationship with the United States. But mm, the visit has actually caused some concern in Washington. People see this as a development that will impact the Saudi-US relations as well. And the most interesting comment came from a 2000, I think it was a 2004 interview with with the then Saudi foreign minister Saud al-Faisal, and he gave this interview to David Ottaway, who was a Washington Post journalist. And when Mr. Ottaway asked the then Saudi foreign minister about Riyadh's efforts to improve its relations with China and other countries, the Saudi foreign minister said that Saudi-US marriage is not a Catholic marriage where you're not allowed to have a second wife. It's a Muslim marriage where having a second wife or more than one wife is allowed. It is not seen as something bad, and therefore, I mean, the Saudis have kept their door open to have more friends. And I think that is how actually all relationship among nations are. I mean, no relationship is a Catholic marriage. I mean, it never should be sort of, as we in Pakistan want. They said, okay, you Pakistan, China, oh, the best friend, the closest friend, and therefore China should not have any relations with India. Well, right now China does not have relations with India, close relations with India, but it does have a very strong trade relationship with India, and in future China can also improve its relations with India in other sectors as well. And the same thing applies to Pakistan. Pakistan is the closest Chinese ally, but Pakistan is also a close US friend. Pakistan also has very good relations with Saudi Arabia. And see what the Saudis realize now, that as with the Ukraine war, with the impact of that war on the international economy, with China's rising profile, with India's rising profile, the Saudis have also realized that this unipolar world, which had only one superpower, which dominated everything else and every other activity, they realize that those are coming to an end, and that they need to have other friends as well. And which friend could be, which could be more appropriate relationship than that between the world's largest oil producer and the world's largest oil consumer. Saudi Arabia is the world's largest oil producer, and China is the largest consumer. So if they could have a direct relationship instead of going through American companies and European companies and other sort of means, that will benefit both. So as expected, the oil exports from Saudi Arabia to China was one of the major subjects discussed during this visit. The two countries also signed dozens of commercial agreements, including one that concerns oil, and the initial value of these agreements is already more than $29 billion, but it would further expand. And in Washington, the commentators are seeing this as probably seeing this relationship as the one that has the potential of becoming the largest economic relationship between the two countries. They are, I see that in comments published in various newspapers and magazines, and in comments on American TV channels, they pointed out that China and Saudi Arabia already signed an agreement that would allow China that will allow China to export its computer and cell phone technology to Saudi Arabia. That will allow China access to the Saudi oil. That will also, so far they have not signed a military agreement, but according to the US media, the agreement that's concluded during this visit have opened the doors for a military agreement between the two countries as well. Arabs are developing their relations with India because India is also now a major economic player. It's probably the world third or fourth largest economy in the world, or probably the third. And people say that if it not already is the third, it will soon become the third economic power in the world, and therefore it is a large importer of oil. It is very rapidly getting into high-tech manufacturing, and Arabs, particularly Saudi Arabia, is keen to benefit from it because China is already a developed market where the chances of entering and investing in new technologies and benefiting from it are limited. While in India, because it is just starting, the Saudis feel that they have more chances of profiting from India's development. But so far, India has had no competition in the Arab world, because Pakistan, although is a close ally to Saudi Arabia and other Arab countries, but Pakistan does not have a large industrial base. Pakistan does not produce the kind of things that they need. Pakistan, our main export to the Middle East is manpower and retired troops who work for Saudi and UAE forces. But China obviously can not only compete with India but actually outshine India, and therefore China will become, if this relationship grows, China will become a good counterbalance to Indian influence in the Middle East. And because of close China and Pakistan relationship, it will be good for Pakistan. It is a positive development for Pakistan.